It's been requested over and over, and it's finally time for a Hall of Shame tour. And I want to preface this tour by saying that this won't be like a normal lodge tour where we look at every single trophy, and it also won't be like a normal lodge tour where I remember a lot of these hunts. Some of these things are, going on 3+ years, and not only that, but they're a little less significant than maybe some of the diamonds and stuff. Also, you may notice trophy ratings aren't going to make sense. Things like this elk right here were shot on the old scoring system and have been converted, I think with maybe the Rancho update, to the new scoring system. So if stuff doesn't make sense, don't worry about that, just worry about the absolute level of Smol male in this lodge. But one thing that I can't remember was one of the more recent kills, a level 1 female gray fox, and that's opposite what I assume was a level 1 female coyote. Now to move over into this area, also, I should say with this lodge, like, a lot of this stuff does not make sense in terms of, like, I don't know, having species that somewhat go together, but it's just a bunch of stuff kind of thrown together. But we've got a bronze mallard, melanistic female pheasant. That is one thing you'll see throughout this lodge, is a bunch of smaller raiders like this piebald roe deer. We had a bronze goose, bronze raccoon, the little albino raccoon from the hunt with our super rare fox, I do believe. And also, I definitely need to do this in our main lodge. We got to get some more diamond coyotes, or raccoons rather, and do some of these mounts, because they actually look really good. But then just a couple of lackluster warthogs, if we can get them to highlight. Bronze albino, and what I can only assume is the smallest a male can get. It is a silver, but 26.3, and I have never seen tusks like that. I think it was a level 1, but I definitely do not know at this point. So we've got stuff like this, a leucistic reindeer next to what I believe was probably a level 2 blacktail at the time, but he was still a bronze. And that's something else too, like, because of the fact that some of this stuff is Hall of Shame, there's a good chance that I shot them with the wrong weapons, so maybe they should have been a silver at the time. Stuff like this spike though, definitely should have been a bronze. So yeah, we'll see certain things that maybe the metal isn't going to match up, and if that doesn't make sense, you can probably assume that I shot it with the wrong weapon. But legacy spike red deer, we're going to see a number of Truax spike red deer due to the Great One grind. I'll never like them as much as these. The old legacy spike red deer were hilarious, but up here we can see a somewhat recent addition due to the spike fallow multi-mount that we just put together. This was that 4th one that I mentioned, not realizing that we had. But then a couple of moose. I think this actually was a 2, and this was a 1. It was a fairly recent kill. We finally got a level 1 moose. I believe that was the case with that guy. Nice little spike kudu. What I can only imagine was probably a level... what? A level 2 reindeer? Why is its trophy rating negative 2,459? So, you know how I said that the old scoring system ratings have been changed to the new system? I don't know how on earth that happens, but that is all the more reason to keep it in the Hall of Shame. It's going to be interesting. Did that leucistic reindeer down here make sense? Yeah, it's fine. I don't know why that's the case, but we have some other reindeer throughout this lodge, and I didn't look at the scores of them as I went around and kind of play some of the things that I felt that I was missing. We'll see if other ones are like that. We've got a little 68 scoring female water buffalo. I think the only way to get a level 1 water buffalo is the females. Another kind of smaller 4-corn blacktail, and that does confirm the one down below must have been shot with the wrong weapon if this guy is a silver. A little spike whitetail, that is, it looks like Truax. About 2019, I think it would have to be for it to have that particular rack shape. And I think that's all for this room. Like I said, we'll move through a little more quickly than we did with like the normal lodge tour. This is one of my absolute favorites though, and I swear I shot a spike eyeballed at one point. And by the way, I'm told that I call these spikes, and therefore I'm not a real hunter because they're not spikes, and I can see that they have 6 points. I'm calling them spikes. It's as small as a whitetail gets in Call of the Wild. That's kind of my reasoning, but it was on a stream. I was so certain that we shot one, and maybe I didn't taxonomize it. We have a bronze piebald, probably shot with the wrong weapon, a bronze melanistic, and then the silver albino, which is why I think the piebald must have been shot with the wrong weapon, but just a cool thing of really tiny rares. And again, that's something we'll see, like this little leucistic black buck here. That is the legacy horns, actually. Nice little spike piebald axis deer. Again, piebald axis deer were not that rare, so that's not that special. A couple more smaller rare axes, an albino and a piebald. Alright, I'm afraid to look. Okay, it's fine. 75.4 for this hilariously tiny caribou, which I think April of 2021 was probably shot on the Red Fox grind. I seem to recall that being the case, but that just doesn't even look possible. I guess it is True Rax. That actually makes sense as to why that one's not messed up, but we looked at this when we came in here for the fallow deer, just a little albino red deer hind, and then, quite possibly my favorite mount, a mount of all spike fallow with the 3 different variations, spotted, dark, and dark spotted, 16.3, 16.3, and 16.2, just a special multi-mount in here, right up there with the 3 rare whitetail. And speaking of rare whitetail, a couple of rare does on the wall here. We've got another legacy horns, or legacy antlers I should say, looks like horns when there's no additional tines, but legacy antler spike red deer. Another one I really like, a bronze male mountain goat. Not much there for visible horns. And we've got, I think, the smallest spike kudu I have. 95.3 is that trophy rating. That would have been also changed from the old system, so I don't know exactly what it would have been. And just what is actually a decent melanistic mule deer, but a silver, so he's kind of in here along with these other things. Through here we have another probably level 2 moose, 32 trophy rating. Interesting, that's what that ended up with from the change. Again, we just looked at this in a recent video, the 94 scoring male Cape Buffalo. It is a silver, but I think that's about as small as they get. Little leucistic reindeer on that side, opposite an albino wildebeest, which, if I remember right, we shot for some reason at a distance with like the 338 or the 300. I think because it was running and it was a female, so I didn't care that much if we messed it up, but it's funny that I would do that. Generally, I never shoot rares with the wrong weapon, even if they are not that big. Then we have a little albino female pronghorn, a couple more rares, a silver albino Iberian wolf, and a leucistic hen turkey. A little piebald cow elk here. Oh, that's where that is. I knew that I shot a level 1 European bison at some point, so we'll see when we go through here. Or actually, we already started at the beginning. There was a bronze goose. We don't really have the room. What is the... This is a unplanned part of this particular video, but there is a multi-mount. Yeah, that we could fit in this lodge with a goose and a bison. That may be... Is this an XL? How do I... Ooh, it is. Okay. Quick change real quick. We're gonna move some stuff. Okay, so I got it switched around, and I've never made this multi-mount before, like in any capacity. I've never even looked at it, so I don't know what poses are possible. But the goose that we have there, I think we have to do one like that, right? The goose that we have there is not the one that we looked at before. That was a bronze brown hybrid at 3.9, so kind of took something else down to make room for that, but got our 2 bronzes in that multi-mount, and I just threw the elk up here where the bison was. Then through here we have another pretty much minimum score True Rax whitetail. I think that has still been on the old system. Pretty sure it would have been. And I thought somewhere around here was a tiny Gensbuck. There it is. Level 1 female at 183. Another really tiny elk, this time with the True Rax. That, I mean, you compare this, which does say a 60 trophy rating, to the ones that are down here. I mean, the legacy level 1 elk, I just think they're a whole lot better. But anyway, to wrap up that room, we had another legacy antlers like red deer, and I think then that is it for the upper level. And of course we did this room already, so then into here, and we start to see some of the rares that I mentioned. A silver piebald red fox, a level 1 pronghorn, which may be one of the biggest level 1 pronghorn we have. This actually is a piebald blacktail. You can barely even tell up there. And it's just a little silver as well, that kind of fits in with the theme. We've got a spike roe deer. One of my absolute favorites are the spiked True Rax roe deer. Red Warthog, that is a rare that can only be female anyway. And then, once again, just kind of the random rares up here with the Melanistic Reindeer. And this is, in my opinion, the ultimate Hall of Shame edition. The albino white-tailed jackrabbit, the first animal we saw in our 303's only hunt as a celebration for 303K, and kind of the series where we hunt with a caliber that matches up to the size of the channel. We had to shoot him, and he would have been a silver anyway with the 303, so now he's a bronze. Next to our Melanistic European hare, which ironically enough, we shot right after an albino gold one, which took us forever to find any rares, and then we had to essentially back-to-back. One of my absolute favorites, a 7-scoring feral pig. When the scores are that low, I don't know, they make me laugh when I see stuff like that. A bunch of rare ducks, and again, we'll see stuff like that all throughout. I threw our albino female jackrabbit in here just for now. Again, we have some rares over here, a leucistic European rabbit, a couple of albino jackal, and then 2 albino warthog. I'm surprised this one is a silver when I look at it, but I guess it would have been. And 2 albino musk deer, a male silver and a female. Through here we have a bunch more random rares and small red deer, a melanistic red fox, which again is kind of an ultimate Hall of Shame addition because I ended up shooting it with the 300 by accident, and I also shot at the vertebrae, so every possible way to mess that up I did. We had a piebald female coyote, nice little spike red deer once again, one on the backside here as well, and again a little spike roe deer. We've got a 3.6 light gray scrub hare here, and a black-brown springbuck that I just had and decided to put it beside it. Another tiny pronghorn, 8 points lower than the one on the other side. Look at the difference here. I mean, he's an uneven spike. Just perfection for the Hall of Shame. Little albino mule deer, and I think alligators should be able to make bronze, at least like as a male. I don't have one at the moment. I do have this little silver, so I decided to put that in there. Almost missed these ones in the back. A tiny melanistic European rabbit, another spike red deer, and a 70 scoring, I think level 2 albino wild boar. I want to say from a 12-hour stream, especially since it was shot on May 12th. I would say that was the case. Then through here, another female coyote. Kind of, again, some of these older things in albino cow moose. We've got a tiny little bronze blacktail, gray brown bear, and melanistic brown bear back here. And then a bunch of stuff that I threw on the wall today. The albino mule deer. We've got another red warthog, another albino jackal. I think my only level 1 male bighorn sheep. 77, just an absolute tank. Another red warthog, another rare musk deer, a piebald female. We've got an albino springbuck, which I doubt should have been bronze. I feel like that probably was shot with the wrong weapon or something like that. Let's see, we can go on to this side. This is just a bunch of ducks. Bunch of random smaller rares and a red bronze female. I didn't even know that we had 2 melanistic female geese, but both were in the 4 trophy rating range, so I thought that was appropriate. Again, the tiny legacy rack elk, the level 1s. I mean, we have the comparison right here. This was a level 1. It's a bronze. 110 versus 83. Got a couple more random little birds and rabbits back here in this corner. We can go around the elk to kind of some of the same, and then we've got this little 4.2 female brown hybrid goose, and I couldn't tell you what level this was, but it is a bronze male bobcat. Probably a 2 or a 3. I don't think they go down to level 1. We're getting into some of the last of it here. We have surely a silver coyote shot with the wrong weapon. I don't even know why I have it, to be completely honest, but it's here, so I threw it in the lodge. Nice little 86 scoring Truax level 1 elk. Another Truax level 1, a blacktail, and probably the smallest that we have in the lodge, if I had to guess. And go back through here for a wall of rares. Piebald blacktail, piebald whitetail, albino blacktail, and albino fallow deer. All does, obviously. And I think that leaves this last room, which is, there's a reason I saved it for last. Is this guy right here, a 12 trophy rating Plains bison. Now, that was shot July 20th, 2019, which means it was on the old scoring system. The fact that the new system made it 12 trophy rating, you may think that's a coincidence. It was 12 trophy rating when I shot it. So that means some of that translation from the old system to the new system works. And I love to have that there as a reminder, that's the minimum score and the minimum weight. Why they chose 12, I have no idea, but it is a fantastic, and, you know, maybe it should be a centerpiece. I may do that. I wanted to leave him where he was because it was a good, like, end with that kind of thing. Maybe we'll move that in the future, but 2 spike axis, a 47, and a negative 34.5. That's the second negative we saw today. And to end, honestly, again, I don't know why I consider this Hall of Shame, an 86 scoring fallow deer that was shot in 2019 and has probably been here ever since. But yeah, the pinnacle of the Hall of Shame Lodge is, of course, the 12 scoring Plains Bison, and you guys have been asking for this. By the way, don't mind the major lighting change I had to run during the middle of that recording to take care of some stuff around the house. But yeah, that is the Hall of Shame, and I hope you guys enjoyed that little tour. And again, if there are Hall of Shame editions that maybe you guys remember being shot in a video and it's not shown in this, leave them in the comments below. I definitely want to start to take the Hall of Shame a little more seriously, since I did go through and actually add the animals that I thought I was missing, the ones that I could find. And we'll try to really maybe move stuff around and make it look a little bit better. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.